Hello students, welcome to Legacy IS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about the topic of how did water appear on the earth, from where did it come, and what is the mystery and how the scientists all around the world are trying to solve this particular mystery. So let us try to understand that this particular issue we are discussing in which context today. So recently there is a very popular journal that is called as Nature Astronomy. So in an article that has been published in particular journal in a few days back, it has been we can say the scientists from Japan have suggested that one possibility how we can explain the origin of water on the earth is that water and the other organic volatile organic materials might have been brought to the earth from the outer edges of the solar system. Not only that, the scientists have made this hypothesis after analyzing a sample that has been brought by a Japanese probe from the asteroid that is called as Ryugu. So the sample has been collected by the probe that is called as Hayabusa 2. Before that also there was a probe that is called as Hayabusa that has collected sample from some other asteroid, but this particular Hayabusa 2 probe has collected sample from the Ryugu asteroid, and this was a probe that was launched into the space somewhere in year 2014 by the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agencies, also called as JAXA in the short. The probe has basically brought only 5.4 grams, that is very minuscule amount of rock from this particular Ryugu asteroid, and also a dust sample has been collected, and this has been being analyzed since last 2 years almost, because December 2020 was the month when the particular sample was delivered to the earth. So based on the study of these particular samples from the Ryugu asteroid, the Japanese scientists have basically made an assumption or have made a suggestion that water and the organic materials, the one possible sources might be the asteroids that is present in the outer edges of the solar system. So before understanding all this in more detail, let us try to briefly understand what is the Hayabusa 2 mission. So Hayabusa 2 mission was a space mission that was sent by Japanese Aerospace Agency somewhere in the month of 2014, and the expected lifespan of this particular mission was for a time period of 6 years. In the time period of 6 years, the mission was expected to complete or cover a distance of almost 5 billion kilometers, and after completing this journey in the month of December 2020, the Hayabusa probe delivered a sample in a small capsule with rock and dust just 220,000 kilometers away from the Earth's surface, and the sample we can say the payload and the sample with payload were sent to the Earth, and after entering the Earth's atmosphere, the sample was finally recovered safely from the South Australian outback. So that was the whole region or whole we can say brief understanding about the Hayabusa 2 mission. So what are the important findings of the study of these particular samples? So first of all, the sample that has been collected, we can expect the age of sample to be somewhere about 4.6 billion years old, because the Ryugu asteroid itself is believed to have formed in the early stages of the formation of the solar system. So that is why by studying this sample, basically the scientists will be able to understand the whole foundation and the whole origin of the solar system. Not only that, the study of sample can also explain to a great extent how the life has originated on our beautiful planet Earth as well. The reason is very simple, because as per the theory that explain the origin of solar system, it is believed that all the components of solar system, whether it is the sun or whether it is the planets or whether it is asteroids and any other small dwarf objects, all have originated at the same time, and thus they own their origin to a simple source or single source. And that is why if you are able to understand any one particular part of solar system, any one particular this body of the solar system, celestial body of the solar system, by help of that we can also understand the origin of life and the structure of the other bodies of the solar system. Now, not only that, by studying this sample, what Japanese scientists have analyzed, that the volatile materials and other organic rich materials including water might have been brought in the early stages of formation of Earth by C-type of asteroids, and thus we can understand that the one source of water on the Earth can also be the asteroids that is impacted, that has collided in the early stages of the solar system formation. Apart from these, other findings are also the contradiction that has also been made by the scientists is such that the asteroids, though can be one of the important or major sources of the water on the Earth, cannot be the only or exclusive sources of the water on the Earth. there are other sources also that might have caused development of water on the earth. So that is the first point. Second point is that if we try to look at the structure and composition of the sample delivered from the Ryugu asteroid, we see slight differences in the particles from the Ryugu asteroid and the similar particles from the earth. So that also concretes, or we can say it also give force to the doubt that the asteroid might be one of the sources or the only sources. However, after doing all these studies, the scientific community in broad sense generally have come to an understanding that the small celestial bodies must, or to some extent definitely have brought things that led to development of water and life on the earth. So what we can basically say that though asteroids might not be the only source of water and life on the earth, it must be one of the sources of water and have caused development of life on the earth. So we have discussed so much about asteroids, including asteroid Ryugu. So what basically is an asteroid? So if you try to look at this particular diagram, what you can see that this is our solar system with the sun at the center, composing or consisting of almost 99.8% of the mass of solar system, and then it is surrounded by 8 major planets that is orbiting around the earth. So here if you try to look at this particular diagram, that you can see between the planet Mars and between planet Jupiter, we have a very large belt of these small rocky objects, and these small rocky objects that are also orbiting around the sun, however are much more smaller in size than the planets, can be called or are basically called as asteroid. And if you believe the estimate of the NASA, it is expected that, or it is believed that there are almost 994,333 known asteroids that is orbiting our sun. However, asteroids cannot be classified as a single category of the object. We have 3 different types of asteroid that we find around the solar system. The classification of asteroids can be done as the asteroids that are present in the main asteroid belt, that just we have shown in diagram. The asteroid region that is orbiting between Mars and Jupiter is the main asteroid belt, where somewhere about 1.1 to 1.8 million asteroids are expected to be orbiting around. The second type of asteroid or second group of asteroids is something that is called as Trojan asteroids. So Trojan asteroids are nothing but basically these are those asteroids which do not have their own belt of orbiting around the sun. They orbit in the same orbit which they're actually basically their orbit overlaps with the orbit of another planet. For example, we have a lot of Trojan asteroids in the orbit of Jupiter, that is called a Jupiter Trojans. Then we have Saturn Trojans, and recently there also has been some asteroids which are called as Earth Trojans because their path and orbit are overlapping with the Earth's orbit around the sun. The third category of asteroids are something that are referred as near-Earth asteroids, or NEA in the short. And again, as per the estimate of NASA, there are expected to be around 10,000 NEAs. Out of these 10,000 NEAs, it is expected that there are 1,400 NEAs or near-Earth asteroids are there, which are further classified as a PHA. Here PHA stands for potential hazardous asteroid. What are potential hazardous asteroid? These are those asteroid whose orbit we can say is very close or to some extent overlapping with the orbit of the Earth, and since they are having very close approach to the Earth, they are coming very closer to the Earth's orbit, there is a risk in the future that they might collide and they might interact with the Earth and thus can cause severe trouble for the life on the Earth. So that is why we are classifying them as potentially hazardous asteroid. So these are the 3 basic types of asteroids: main asteroid belt asteroid, Trojan asteroid, and the near Earth asteroid, and the sub classification of that is a potential hazardous asteroid. So what is Ryugu asteroid? So if you try to look at this particular diagram, what we can see here, we have the sun orbiting around the sun. As you can see, this blue orbit is the orbit of the Earth, and as you can see, overlapping to the some extent around this blue orbit, we have this green orbit, and in this particular picture, this green orbit is the orbit that is representing the Ryugu's motion around the sun. So what we can say, Ryugu is nothing but an example of near Earth asteroid. For the first time, and since its orbit is also overlapping with the Earth's orbit, that is why it is also classified as a potential hazardous asteroid. For the first time, Ryugu was discovered somewhere in the year 1999, and overall current distance or present distance of this particular asteroid from the Earth is around 300 million kilometers. So that is about the Ryugu asteroid. Now obviously the question comes that why scientific community or why different space agencies around the world are so much interested in understanding and study of asteroids. So what is the basic significance of asteroid study? So basically three important significances we can outline here. The first is the asteroids are believed to be one of the oldest celestial bodies that are present in the solar system, and since these are the oldest celestial bodies, they have a lot of information that is hidden in the geology, that is hidden in the structure, that is hidden in the materials that are present on the asteroids. And thus if we are able to analyze and if we are able to study these materials, to a large extent we might be able to solve the mystery that is surrounding the formation and history of the planets as well as the sun. So by studying of these asteroids, to some extent we can say we are able to unveil the mystery that is around the formation of the solar system and the planets in particular. Third, also the important point is that why it is important to study the asteroids is because, as we discussed, there is always a possibility that due to the nearness of these asteroids closer to our Earth, there is a possibility that in the future they can crash into the Earth. And that is why the tracking of the orbit, tracking of the movement of this asteroid become very important, so that you can take some remedial measures if any asteroid is on the collision course to the Earth. So these are the three significances of asteroid study. Now, the Hayabusa is not the only mission that has been sent on the asteroids. There has been several other notable past missions as well. The most important of them is the NASA's mission that is called as OSIRIS-REx, that has been sent to study and analyze the sample of Bennu asteroid. Similarly, there was another mission that is called as Lucy mission that was also sent by NASA, and the main objective of Lucy mission was to study the Trojan asteroids that is present in the orbit of Jupiter planet. And the third and the most important mission you should know about is again a NASA's mission that is called as DART. The DART here stands for Double Asteroid Redirection Test Mission, and the main objective of this mission is that, as we discussed, there is always a risk that asteroid can come very close to the Earth or collide with the Earth. So in case of that event, the DART mission will be able to deflect or change slightly the course or path of the coming asteroid, and thus help or prevent asteroid from colliding with the Earth. So that is why for the future, for the safety of the mankind, for the safety of the Earth, it is very important that DART mission becomes successful. So these are some other the notable missions, as you can see, that has been sent to the asteroids. So that is all for this particular topic. I hope you understood about the significance, that what are the asteroids, what is the significance of the study of asteroids, and what is the recent scientific findings that can help us in solving the mystery surrounding the origin of water on the Earth by studying the samples of the asteroid. That is all for today. Thank you very much.